Okay, today we're tackling a mystery that frustrates so many of us as we get older, and that is stubborn belly fat after 50. If you feel like you're doing absolutely everything right, putting in the hard work, and just not seeing those changes in the mirror, I want you to know you are absolutely not alone. We're going to look at the exact biological reasons why this happens, and more importantly, a highly effective, scientifically backed tweak to your morning routine that can finally get things moving.
Look, let me know if this sounds familiar. You're out there hitting your step goals. You're walking every single day. You're probably even eating less than you did in your 30s or 40s, but that stubborn weight around your midsection, it just refuses to budge. It's incredibly frustrating, and honestly, it's easy to feel like your metabolism is simply broken. But I'm here to validate all that effort and tell you that walking and eating less are definitely not the problem. Your effort is spot on. The real issue, it's highly likely the timing of that activity.
Here's the thing. Your body hasn't stopped working. The rules of the game, they've just changed. After the age of 50, your body goes through a series of really important biological shifts that completely change how it decides what fuel to use. It's no longer just a simple math equation of calories in versus calories out. Your body is making real-time decisions about whether to burn fat or store fat based on a brand new set of instructions. And the good news is, once you understand those instructions, you can use a very simple rule of one tweak to flip that switch right back in your favor.
Section 1. Why belly fat gets stubborn. Taking a look under the hood after 50. Okay, let's dive into this. It all starts with a biological process called sarcopenia, which is just a fancy word for the natural loss of muscle mass as we age. Research from the National Institutes of Health reveals something pretty wild. Adults can lose between 3 and 8% of their muscle mass every single decade after age 30, and this process actually accelerates once you hit 50. So why does this matter for belly fat? Well, because muscle is an incredibly metabolically active tissue. It literally burns energy even when you're just sitting on the couch relaxing. So as that muscle decreases, your baseline daily calorie burn simply drops, making it way easier to gain fat and a whole lot harder to lose it.
But wait, muscle loss is just the first piece of the puzzle. You're actually facing 3 main biological roadblocks here. Alongside that lower calorie burn, your body often becomes a bit less sensitive to insulin. The American Diabetes Association notes that insulin resistance naturally increases with age, especially if we become less active. This basically means your body holds on to glucose longer, and much of that unused energy gets stored directly as fat around the abdomen. And finally, there's cortisol, your stress hormone. Harvard Medical School studies show that chronically elevated cortisol, whether that's from poor sleep, life stress, or even overexercising, actually forces your body to store fat around your vital organs as a protective mechanism. So as you can see, it's not just about calories. It's a perfect storm of reduced muscle, insulin resistance, and stress signaling.
Section 2. The power of fasted mornings. The 8 to 12-hour window of opportunity. Now, please don't let those biological roadblocks discourage you, because here is the truly fascinating good news. We can completely bypass them by leveraging a specific, incredibly advantageous metabolic state that happens first thing in the morning. Think about it. When you wake up, you've typically gone 8 to 12 hours without food. You are in what's known as the fasted state. Your body has already used up its short-term energy supply, and crucially, your insulin levels have dropped down to a low baseline. Research from the American Journal of Physiology confirms that in this specific low-insulin environment, fat oxidation, which is just the process of burning fat for fuel, is significantly higher. Because you have no immediate energy coming in from food, your body is forced to rely on stored energy. Now contrast that with the fed state. If you eat first thing, your insulin rises and your body immediately switches to burning that incoming food instead. The takeaway, if you want that morning walk to burn stored belly fat, you absolutely must keep insulin low.
Section 3. One mistake ruining your walk. The common habit blocking your results. So there's actually a massive hidden trap here. It's a very common habit that lots of older adults fall into that unknowingly completely ruins this prime fat-burning window. Think about your morning routine for a quick second. Right before you lace up your shoes and head out the door for your walk, what are you consuming? What innocent, comforting morning habit might be secretly canceling out all your hard work and shutting down that fat burn before you even take your very first step? Well, here are the prime suspects, what we call the fat burn blockers. Having coffee with sugar or flavored creamer, grabbing a small snack just for a quick hit of energy, sipping on some juice, or eating a light breakfast. Now, from a comfort standpoint, this makes total sense, right? You think you need energy for the walk, but metabolically speaking, it is a total disaster for fat loss. Even tiny amounts of carbohydrates in that splash of creamer or sip of juice trigger an immediate insulin response. And the very moment insulin rises, your body receives a strict biological signal to stop releasing stored fat and prioritize burning those incoming nutrients instead. You've essentially slammed the fat-burning window completely shut.
So, how do we fix this? It's remarkably simple. You must stick strictly to water, black coffee, or plain tea before your walk. Hydration is actually vital here. Your body is naturally dehydrated after a long night of sleep, and water helps all those metabolic processes run much more efficiently. And hey, if you need a little boost, black coffee is fantastic. Research actually shows the caffeine can enhance the release of fatty acids into your bloodstream, making them readily available to be burned off. But the golden rule? It must be 0 calories. No sugar, no creamer. You've got to keep that fasted state totally intact.
Section 4. The perfect walking routine. How to execute for maximum fat burn.
All right, the crucial point here is execution. Now that we know we have to walk in a fasted state, how exactly do we structure this walk to maximize the amount of belly fat we're actually using for fuel? Well, the magic number is 30 to 45 minutes. A lot of people severely underestimate how long it takes for the body to actually shift into a high-fat use state. When you first start walking, even when you're completely fasted, your body initially burns whatever available glucose is left over. It actually takes about 15 to 20 minutes of continuous movement for that gradual transition toward heavy fat utilization to really kick into gear. By walking 30 to 45 minutes, you're giving your body enough sustained energy demand in that prime fat burning zone to actually make a real difference.
But listen, just as important as duration is intensity, and this is exactly where we use the talk test. You should be walking at a pace where you can comfortably speak in short sentences and feel slightly challenged but absolutely not overwhelmed or gasping for air. Why? Because as organizations like the American College of Sports Medicine have shown us, moderate intensity is the absolute best for fat metabolism. If you push into high-intensity exercise while fasted, your body kind of panics. It spikes cortisol, yep, that stress hormone we talked about earlier, and it frantically starts searching for quick energy, completely abandoning the slow, steady process of fat burning. Keep it moderate, keep it steady, and make sure you pass the talk test.
Section 5. Your timeline for real results. What happens over weeks of consistency?
Now, let's set some realistic expectations here. Fasted walking isn't some magic overnight shortcut. It's a highly powerful biological tool that requires consistency. In weeks 1 and 2, the scale might not even move, but you'll notice a solid routine starting to form and a nice little increase in your daily energy. By weeks 3 and 4, you'll start to experience reduced bloating, and you might notice tiny changes in how your clothes are fitting. But the real magic? That happens around weeks 6 to 8. This is when long-term lifestyle studies show consistent, moderate fasted activity yields a noticeable reduction right around the waistline, along with vastly improved walking endurance. And by weeks 10 to 12, you'll see visible physical changes, better posture, and a massive boost in your overall confidence. Remember, consistency always beats intensity.
So let's wrap this all up. Walking after 50 isn't just about doing more. It's about doing things in the correct biological order. Fasted morning walking creates that absolutely perfect low-insulin environment to finally tap into stored fat. I want to leave you with this question today. What is your biggest challenge after 50 right now? Is it losing that stubborn belly fat? Is it staying consistent with a routine? Or is it just maintaining your energy throughout the day? Think about it and let me know down in the comments below. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I'll see you in the next one.